It begins in silence. Decades pass. The war ends, or so the world believes. But somewhere, deep in a jungle on a forgotten island, the conflict never truly stopped. They were known as the holdouts, soldiers who refused to believe the surrender, who refused to lay down arms, who remained hidden long after peace was declared. This is their story of loyalty, delusion, time stretched like a wound, and the terrible cost of refusing to yield. 1945. The Japanese Empire has collapsed. Emperor's voice crackles over the radio. Cities smolder. Armies surrender. Yet in the Philippines, on Lubang Island, Lieutenant Hiru Onoda hears a different command. Do not surrender under any circumstances, no matter what. Hold out. Wait until you are ordered to stand down. When the forests of Lubang fell, Onoda retreated into hills, carrying only jungle training, instinct, and an unyielding sense of duty. He stood alone, cut off from communication, isolated from time itself. What does it mean to live while the world changes around you? For Onoda and his few companions, survival meant stealth, cunning. They scavenged stolen rice from farms, game hunted under moonlight, roots and wild fruits, uniforms rotted, weapons corroded. Yet each dawn they stood ready, rifles cleaned, traps laid, ready to act. Every leaflet dropped from airplanes was dismissed as propaganda, every radio broadcast a trick by the enemy. In their minds, surrender was dishonorable, impossible. They built bamboo hideouts, memorized terrain, masked footprints, time lost meaning. 1 decade, 2 decades, 20 years. Around them, entire generations were born, died, forgotten. They remained in a frozen war. Lubang's story is the most famous, but not unique. On Guam, Sergeant Shoichi Okoa was discovered in 1972, nearly 28 years after the war. He lived alone in jungle caves, emerging only at night to hunt. He told later, "It is with much embarrassment that I return." In 1974, Teruo Nakamura, ethnically Taiwanese but conscripted into the Japanese army, surrendered on Morotai Island, the last known holdout. There was also the case of Anatahan Island, a bizarre microcosm of palm trees, castaways, rumor, struggle. 30 Japanese stranded, believing the war still raged, until 1951 when they surrendered. On Anatahan, the isolation gave way to inner conflict, power, trust, betrayal, desperation. These stories ripple with tension, belief gnawing at sanity. What drives a man to fight a war no one else fights? In Japan's doctrine, surrender was the ultimate shame, a betrayal of emperor, country, self. To many holdouts, any message bearing the surrender must be false. To yield was to erase one's honor. For Onoda, the outside world became myth. He trusted only original orders, the ones telling him to never surrender. He ignored letters from family, pleas from the government, radio broadcasts, all dismissed. But this hard resolve came at a price. Isolation eroded human contact. Every friend lost, every memory turned phantom. The jungle becomes home, but also a cage. He returned to a country that had changed and felt strange in it. He emigrated to Brazil, lived quietly, raised cattle. He died alone, still haunted by that suspended war. Yokoi, too. When he came back, he carried the weight of regret and the burden of celebrity. He said, "I was really good at hide and seek." Could there still be someone, somewhere, unaware the war ended? In 2005, 2 elderly men emerged from jungle in Mindanao. Claiming they had been hiding for decades, the government rushed to investigate. But evidence was thin. many suspected hoax, no definitive proof. By then, any true holdouts would be impossibly old. Most historians agree, after so many decades, survival is nearly impossible. Yet the stories remain as haunting testaments to loyalty that refuses logic, to men who lived beyond history's end, to the cost of faith when the world moves on. In modern Japan, the holdouts evoke mixed feelings: awe, sadness, regret. They force us to ask, when does devotion become delusion? When does refusing to surrender become refusing to live? We walk through modern cities unaware of wars past, but there were places where war never left. Where nature, time, and belief held a man prisoner. The island, the jungle, the radio leaflets, they all blur. These holdouts remind us, peace is not just a declaration. It must be believed. It must be lived. If a war can persist in hearts long after the guns are silent, what wars still stir within us